Now, going over to the Cultural Pod podcast, you have Matt Walsh's comment and the New York City forum population going viral on social media. Now, this got 1.6 million views on Matt Walsh's personal profile on X, hashtag Matt Walsh blog, and he says, quote, 40% of New York City's population is foreign-born, not just second or third generation immigrants. Foreign-born, almost half of the city wasn't even born in this country. New York City isn't an American city anymore by any reasonable definition of the term. It's a tragedy and a disgrace, unquote. And he also got 41,000 likes, which is quite a few to say at least. And this is all coming off the news that New York City Democrats elected a, well, also controversial in some folks, a Muslim as well as a socialist to be their mayoral candidate. Given the makeup of New York City, the odds are the Democrats are going to win that because, like the shitty of Chicago, and I'm not actually misspeaking there, though I do stutter a lot in general. Yeah, they've been voting Democrat for nearly 100 years. And I'm sure the cities will turn around and get safe any day now. They'll be great for businesses. They'll all move there and things will get better. Haha, sad and dark political pun. Because, yeah, it's been almost 100 years. They keep voting the same way and nothing gets better and businesses only leave those shitties. Now, going to the comments section, one of the first ones comes to us thanks to Amuse, and he says, quote, if New York City voters don't think they're going to turn America's greatest city into an Islamic socialist hellhole, unquote. And that got 206 likes. But let's be honest, was that really our greatest city? I would say, hell no. If I had to choose where to go on vacation, where to start a business, where to start a family, where to live, I would never, ever, ever, ever choose New York City. One of the highest crime rates in the United States, the highest murder rates in the States, very restrictive on the Second Amendment. I mean, I would never want to live there. So to me, I would almost argue it's the worst city in the United States. No, that's be a hard one. San Francisco, Chicago, or New York City, or Austin. Oh dear God, it might be. I can't. That'd be hard. Maybe I'll do a poll on the YouTube. I don't know where, but one of those is the worst cities in the United States. Mark my word. You also have Dark Mode saying, quote, let me explain this for all the xenophobic fans of Matt Walsh. This has always been true of New York City. It's what makes it the greatest city in the world. Getting 1.6 thousand likes, which I was going to say, that didn't ratio Matt Walsh, but that is the first contrarian statement, getting, again, 1.6 thousand likes. I mean, that is very true. I mean, historically speaking, it has had a very high percentage of immigrant population. We used to have a thing called Ellis Island. Well, it's still around, but it's not. Now it's more of a museum. It's actually not used as a receiving point for immigrants. I think many would argue back in the day, you also had a vast amount of assimilation. I mean, people weren't bringing their flags of what's a nice way of saying, rudimentary, mediocre countries with them. I mean, that is one of the most weirdest things in modern culture in the United States is people will leave a terrible country and then they'll wave that flag when they get here. Like, if your country is so great, why the hell did you leave? Like the people who are waving Mexican flags all over the United States. That country is a third world place that's run by the cartels. Why did you come here? I mean, you're waving the Mexican flag. Why not go back? It's quite easy across the border going out. It is, the mind merely boggles. And my family actually, well, my mom's and her family came from Cuba. Guess what? It's a communist hellhole. None of us will ever wave the Cuban flag. Now, going back to the main comment section, you also have the Tumbleweed saying, quote, maybe it's time to make an example of New York City. If the heartland and areas of this country stop hauling the transportation of food and support to New York City, they will see the real power of the country is. Power is the farm and the ranches of manufacturing, and not the city. Getting 6 likes, I cannot be grammatically correct. And yeah, historically speaking, manufacturers, I mean, interestingly enough, they used to be very heavy, densely populated in cities, especially places like Chicago, or as they call it, Chirac. It's an instance where a lot of that was outsourced, due, I would argue, in many part because of Democrat regulations. And that there used to be a lot of manufacturing, especially close to the waterways and main transportation routes, and even in the city. I mean, a lot of my grandpa's old tools that I inherited were actually made in Chicago. They used to have huge metallurgy factories, and I mean, it used to be a huge thing. There is still some assembly manufacturing in cities. So again, these days cities are much more well known for big skyscrapers with a lot of tech bros and financial institutions, and a lot of businesses in the service industry having headquarters there. Now, you also have Guillermo El Conquistador saying, quote, in 1860, 47% of New York City's population was foreign-born. Huge numbers of the immigrants fought for the Union in the Civil War. Now, that got 267 likes. Let's see here. Fake Vivek appropriate name is obviously not Vivek Ramaswamy. Now he says, quote, "Oh wow, what a groundbreaking statistic. Did you just discover history? New York City has always had a major foreign-born population. Is literally what built the city. Spare us this fake revelation." And unfortunately, he does not give us the citing for the statistics, but he does allege that, proportion of New York City's population as foreign-born was in 1850 was 46%, 1870 is 44%, in 1900 is 37%, 1920 is 36%, 1950 is 23%, 1970 is 18%, kind of going against Matt Walsh there, but then it does increase in 1980, 24%, 1990, 28%, 2000, 36%, and today at 38%. Now, that got 763 likes. You do have some comments starting to agree with Matt Walsh, brewing to the surface. Tommy Laureen? It's almost as a weird name as me, Topping, but no, not really. But now she says, quote, "Important the third world get the third world," getting 565 likes. Mr. Pitbull, though I don't think it's a singer unless he has a disproportionate amount of time in his hands to tweet, or respond to tweets more accurately. Now, he says, quote, "Eventually it will be difficult to define what it means to be an American. That's really the goal of open borders and unfettered immigration. Leftists understand that once you erase a people's cultural identity, it's far easier to institute radical change," getting 47 likes. Going down more and more. Let's see. Well, one more. This guy's busy with the tweets. Fake Vivek also says, quote, "What exactly is the tragedy here? New York City's foreign-born population has remained consistently since the 1800s. You clearly didn't bother with even the most basic research. Instead, you Googled surface-level statistics, slapped it on a post, and tried to pass it off as some revelation. The only thing you're exposed is your bias against non-European immigrants. Educate yourself before fear-mongering." Getting 751 likes and 65 comments. Was he ratioed? Keith says, quote, "The tragedy here is 100 years ago, foreigners came to New York to escape socialism and communism and adopt American society. These people coming here to turn New York City now into a socialist shithole and expect nothing but handouts," getting 38 likes. That is a very big difference between back in the day and now, is the amount of handouts given to the government stolen from taxpayers. It is a huge incentive why many people come to the United States. Again, not all of them, obviously, but many of them. Going down to the main comment section again. You also have Fatima Kahan saying, quote, "I don't think too many people truly grasp how amazingly progressive and historic it is. It will soon be Zohan Maharami, the first Muslim mayor in New York City, a complete turnaround of the early 2000s when Muslims, Sikhs, Hindus were afraid to walk on the streets because of racism and harassment was so high after 9/11. This is what progress looks like." I'm actually very proud of him when she also is old enough. Him next. Getting 69 likes. Just visiting responses, "That is how parasites behave. Take over, consume, and damage the host and brag about it. Someone had to build this great city, and before you can pillage it, they were not Muslims." Getting 40 likes. Scrolling down main comment section again. Gina Hooch says, quote, "Sounds like there's more foreign-born people in New York City than descendants of the people who built it. Terrible. Somehow knowing more than half New York City are Christians doesn't make your figure less terrible." That got 42 likes. Scrolling down more and more, a lot of people are referencing 9/11. Also have Spence saying, quote, this was true yesterday, as well as your problem is going to elect an anti-Israel candidate because you suck Jewish D." Getting 52 likes, despite terrible grammar. I'll do one or two more comments here. Ed Daughtry says they want to become Iran, getting 129 likes. An enemy within says, quote, "Hey, you dumb MFer, it always has been. Everyone in this effing country's family was once like this family with only Native American as exceptions, including your McAss family." Getting 155 likes. A new pejorative slur. I didn't hear that one before. It looks like Matt was he? Let's see. Mario simply says, "That's why the city is so great, you nationalistic idiot." And idiot style. He tried to make up a word. He says ignorant and imbecile combined into one equals that word. Getting 243 likes. So Matt Walsh, I was going to say, is not by a number of likes in terms of the comments. So he wasn't technically ratioed, but in terms of the comments that were liked, but in terms of the vast overwhelming majority of comments, he was ratioed in that regard. And let me know, do you think this is a good thing? Do you think it's about more of the same? Do you think immigrants have different values than they did now compared to back in the day? And do you think they'll still have any effect on long-term, culture of New York City? Let me know your thoughts, guys. As always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Again, trying to get to 6,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you can click that button, I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or a comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. And lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.